Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is John Van Lunen, and you are listening to Treasures of the Outer Banks, episode 28. In this episode, I talked to an old friend, Leroy Hyson. Leroy and I went to high school together at Northwood in Silver Spring, Maryland. And the funny thing I was thinking back is that in the 10th grade, I made the JV basketball team, and Leroy was the manager. In retrospect, I should have been the manager and Leroy should have been on the JV basketball team because I was a horrible basketball player and I stopped playing competitive basketball after that year in the 10th grade on JV. Leroy, on the other hand, became a really good high school basketball player and helped out the varsity a few years down the road there. So kind of ironic how things work out, but that's the way it is. Anyway, I was following Leroy on Facebook and he was up in Montgomery County, Maryland, doing his thing with teaching and this, that, and the other thing, fishing. And then I saw on Facebook he was moving to the Outer Banks. And I was kind of excited about this because, not that we were super close, but I always liked Leroy, a super nice guy. And I was excited to have a familiar face on the Outer Banks. And I had been here about 25 years. So anyway, he moves down here, and I wish I could tell you some great stories that we go fishing together every day and we're hanging out at the karaoke bar every night, but not so. I'm busy with my things. He's busy with his things, but it's still great to sit down and catch up with him. And I really wanted to talk to him about fishing on the Outer Banks. So, he was very active in fishing up in Maryland, probably more so now that he's down in the Outer Banks and he's surrounded by water on both sides and he can go pretty much wherever he wants. And he's definitely having a lot of fun, and it was great to catch up with him. We talk about a lot of things like fishing and the community and relocating to the Outer Banks and what that's been like and how special that's been for him. I think the big lesson that I took away from talking to him was that he puts the social in social media. And if you are new to a community, I tell you what, you ought to do what Leroy did, and that is create a Facebook group page and just start posting on it and getting your face out there and interacting and drawing people in, because now he just is part of this huge community, most of it on the Outer Banks, but obviously on the internet, it could be from anywhere. But he has just created a lot of friends and stuff. I mean, he's been here, a year and a half, and he knows everybody. So it's been very cool for me to watch that from across town and seeing how much he's enjoying it and doing well. So it was great catching up with him. We do briefly bring up a company called Vicarious Fishing that is run by a friend of mine, Dave Seibert, who is on our coaching staff for First Flight Lacrosse. And he specializes in spearfishing charter trips. If you want to look that up, he can definitely get you going in that direction. Very cool. But there's actually a lot of things we could probably touch upon, but we didn't. But we still had a great time sitting down and catching up. And I think you will enjoy this. So sit back and relax. So I saw you, I think it was back around the summertime in the grocery store, and you said the funniest thing to me. You said, "I am fully assimilated."
Yeah, that's it.
You are all in. You moved to the Outer Banks. Did you come visit here much at all? How many times have you come to the Outer Banks before you moved in here?
I've come to the Outer Banks exactly 0 times.
That's crazy.
0 times. I didn't know about it. The only thing I knew about the Outer Banks was the little OBX symbol on people's windshields back in Maryland. And I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, what is that? What is that?
So who sold you on this?
So my wife, she does all of our planning for vacations and everything. And we had a plan to go to Florida, and that got canceled. And she asked me, what about going to the Outer Banks? I'm like, okay. I knew it was something about, I've heard the term Nag's Head from my uncle with fishing. So I'm all in. I'm like, sure, let's do that. So we get here, we get to the Airbnb, and the Airbnb was a little shack. And the advertisement was a fisherman's paradise.
You fell right into the trap.
You can bring your boat. I'm like, okay, I can bring the boat. So I had my boat's called Little Low, and so she said you can bring your boat. So we got here and traveled here. Had no clue.
Yeah.
In this little shack, and we met. I got shivers thinking about it. So I have my boat, and we pull up to the marina where the area is. It's in Collington Harbor.
Okay.
And we pull into the marina with the boat, and we see this couple, and they're throwing the dog fetching. The dog is fetching basically, and me, I like to talk to everybody. So I introduce myself and let them know that, hey, we're just visiting and just getting our boat in. And the people here are so nice.
Yeah.
This couple, I'm going to tell them that Jen and Mike, we're best friends right now. So Jen and Mike, we got introduced to them, and they were just so warm and welcoming. And that's what we found. Everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
So we get here, and the rest is history. It's basically, we were here for I think 5 days.
Right.
It rained 2 days. I went fishing pretty much every day that I could on my boat. And I met another gentleman. His name was Steven. And this dude, he's a fisherman. And he actually let me know some spots to go to. And my wife caught a big puppy drum.
Yeah.
She was hooked. I was hooked. And so, long story short, it started to rain one night. We're playing cards or something. We both looked at each other, and it was, this is where we want to live.
Wow. Just like
that.
That's
just
crazy.
like that. And then on the way home, she's like, okay, I'm ready to sell the house.
you thought maybe she was bluffing. It's not a bluff.
It was like a cartoon in my head with like boom, boom, boom. And I made phone calls in my head already. And long story short, we ended up getting a house on the exact same street.
Wow.
That we did the Airbnb right across the street. I'm talking, I can see the mailbox.
Yeah.
And it's been heaven.
That's amazing.
It's been heaven.
And you're in Collington Harbor now?
Yes, sir.
Yep, right on the water.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a very cool boating community, too. I mean,
yeah.
just everybody's got a boat. Everybody back there.
It's beautiful.
So cool. We're friends on Facebook for a while, and I know you were living up in Montgomery County, and you were doing a lot of fishing up there. I mean, while you were living in Montgomery County, right?
Correct.
Did you have to drive a little bit further?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to tell you how much gas I spent. So I'm traditionally a bass fisherman.
Okay.
And I grew up fishing for bass and perch and crappie, and doing a little bit saltwater with my uncle and my cousin. And then I stopped fishing for a while, and I got back into it. And what happened is someone introduced me to snakehead fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up going to the Eastern Shore because the northern snakehead is an invasive species.
Right.
And so
it's in the Potomac a lot too, right?
Oh yeah. And I've never caught them in the Potomac, and there are a lot of all the tributaries into the Chesapeake Bay.
Right.
You're gonna find that snakehead fish.
Yeah.
And so, was it Maryland Wildlife
Resource or something?
Yeah, Maryland Department of Resources.
Right.
They natural resources. They were trying to get them out of the systems.
Right.
They can't do it. It's too many.
Right.
And
so one theory is let's overfish them.
Yeah,
it's worked with other species.
Exactly.
Let's try it with a snakefish.
I was going 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Down to Eastern Shore, like 2-hour drive, in Cambridge to Blackwaters to fish with a snakehead, and there's no fish like that bite. Bass, I would catch a 5-pound bass and go, oh, it's a 5-pound bass.
And there, as I recall, they're ugly and just vicious, nasty fish, and they'll wipe out the other species.
That's what they say.
Okay.
And there's a big debate. On one hand, they're gonna because they live in the muckiest of water. They can live in 2, 3, 4 inches of water.
Yeah.
Not a lot of oxygen, but they go to the spawning grounds of our panfish. And so they're wiping, they're supposedly wiping them out.
Okay.
And they spawn 3 to 5 times a year. So there's a multitude of the fish around. But for me, I'm okay with them.
And you eat them and everything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The fillet is delicious.
Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So you relocate to the Outer Banks and you pick up right where you left off and you start fishing. I'm sure there was a little bit of a learning curve, but what has been your favorite discoveries with OBX fishing so far?
For me, being on the Sound and knowing that the water's so shallow.
Yeah.
I've never been somewhere where a vast amount of water is 5 to 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
And you can catch all kind of species.
Yeah.
Like on the back of on my dock, I remember that first, I think it was October or something like that. I caught 7 different species right off the back of my dock. Wow. And I couldn't imagine it. And so that's been huge. And the people, the fishermen. And what I noticed is that if the local fishermen here see that you are a fisherman and not just someone looking for a spot,
right,
they will bend over backwards to help you,
right,
in your journey. And that's what's happened to me. So even before I came here, I started a YouTube channel called OBX Surf and Sound Fishing. OBX Surf and Sound Fishing YouTube channel. And that was just for me to start the journey. It's before I even moved here. So I'm making, what did I make? A bait launcher, which is illegal. I didn't know it at the time. So I'm calling everyone, hey, can I bring my bait launcher? And I'm, launch off the beach my bait? No, sir. It's like a projectile. It's illegal in North Carolina. You can't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I made a bait launcher. I'm making.
What's your name again?
Where you gonna live? Yeah. But so I started it, and we now have, my YouTube channel has about 200 subscribers.
Right.
I'm still new to it.
Right.
And then I have a Facebook page, same name, and that has blown up.
Say that name again.
OBX Surf and Sound Fishing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I have another one called OBX Kids Family Fun Fishing. It's a runoff from the one that I had in Maryland, OBX Snakehead Kids, Snakehead Kids Family Fun Fishing. But the Facebook page has been good. It's more so to educate people about the surf and sound and pier fishing. I do tips and tricks. I let people see my journey. And what's funny is I've met so many people that see me on the street or on a pier or on a dock. Hey, aren't you Leroy? I'm like, yeah, I'm Leroy. Oh man, thank you so much. And a couple of ladies have come to me, and they said, you don't know, but I watch your channel all the time, your page all the time, and I learn something every single time and I'm done. I'm like, okay, this is it,
Right.
33 years of teaching, I'm still teaching. I love it.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
And you, just to back up a little bit, you used to be a PE teacher?
Well, no, I taught elementary, and then I taught 8 years 6th grade science.
Why did I think you were a PE teacher? I don't know why.
Probably loving sports all the time.
Maybe.
Yeah. I did elementary for a long time.
All in Montgomery County?
Montgomery County.
Yeah. Which is where we grew up. We went to high school together in Silver Spring.
Exactly.
So, that's great that you're getting that kind of pull. 6,500 people on your Facebook group page.
Almost, 62.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And I will say you're always posting videos and fun stuff like that. And some of it's educational and some of it's just sharing the experience. I get it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So, again, keep it in kind of local. What do you like to eat your catch? And that's another thing. You might see Leroy cooking up his latest catch, showing it off. What's your favorite local catch to eat, and how do you prepare it?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. All right, you guys listen closely because this is a good one. This is a good one. So recently, I've been catching a black drum.
Okay.
And a lot of people catch the real big ones.
Right.
And they call them big uglies. But I prefer catching the ones you can keep and take home. So anywhere from 15 to maybe 20 inches, I like to keep that. And
do they still have that black and white stripe on them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they sometimes, and remember, I'm still new to this. I used to think that the black drum was a sheep's head fish.
Right.
And the sheep's head was a black drum until I figured it out.
Okay.
But so for preparation, what I do now, and my wife likes it, I like it. I get some egg, put it in a bowl, maybe 2 eggs, whip it up, and I scale the black drum and fillet them and leave the skin on the side. Leave the skin on. Score the skin, and then may add a little bit of seasoning in it, not that much, and like salt, pepper, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then I dump that all into the egg. Just dump it in the egg. Then in a separate pan, I put, it's called panko seasoned. It's called panko seasoned.
Panko is very popular around here, but this one's seasoned.
I've never had it.
Okay.
And so, because my canal neighbor, she said, I put mine in panko and it was delicious. I'm like, panko, what is that? So I went to Publix, got some panko.
Yeah.
Man, spread it in the bottom of the pan, put the fillets in the panko, and just pat it down, and then turn it over and put it on both sides. And on the Blackstone, take 2 or 3 minutes per side.
A little bit of oil in there.
Olive oil. Olive oil. I actually sprinkle olive oil on the top side and bottom side, but a little bit of oil in the Blackstone. You don't need a deep fry or nothing like that.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice.
It's good. I think I know what I'm going to eat tonight.
Okay. Sorry to get you going there. Excellent. So, is there a local seafood or catch that you just refuse to eat?
Refuse? I don't. Oysters.
Same here.
My wife loves
raw oysters.
She loves them, slurps them down. I'll use them for bait.
Now roasted, I'll eat a roasted oyster.
Right.
Just
from Captain George's,
steamed or something like that.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as fish, I'm eating skate. I'm eating dogfish. I'm eating the red drum, speckled trout, black drum,
puffer
sheep's head. Puffer. I have not got the chicken of the sea yet. I've not eaten it. I cleaned one and then I chickened out,
right,
and didn't eat it.
And why Leroy is saying that is because they can be poisonous if you eat them or you prepare them wrong.
Yeah, I think there's a gland or something inside of them, but I'm not sure if the northern that I think it's called a northern puffer. There's 2 types from what I understand. No,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think there's 2 types, and I think the one that we primarily catch here is not poisonous.
Okay.
I think. I think. Make sure you preface that.
You first. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You try it.
Yep. Any wish lists for local fishing? I mean, it's something you're kind of dying to do.
Yes, I have not caught a cobia fish.
Okay. Me neither.
I want to catch a cobia, and I want to understand their habitat, their migration. And for me, all of this fishing stuff is more of me. I want to learn, what are the fish thinking? And so my wish list would be to learn how to catch cobia, but also the other species and know why they're in certain places at certain times.
Right.
The weather patterns, the moon. I mean, I've learned so much from the fishermen here about the moon cycle. When it's a full moon, when it's different tides. And the local fishermen are invaluable. Just
yeah.
And if they know that you want to learn, they just give you the information. And I'm on YouTube all the time.
Right.
But as far as the wish list, I want to catch a cobia. I would like to experience the tuna fishing at least once in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
At least once.
I've done a couple charters and it's fun. Go out for the whole day, bring a ton of food, bring your buddies, and hopefully bring back some tuna. And wahoo. Oh my gosh, wahoo is so good.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's so much to learn. I can't wait. But yeah, I mean, I guess another wish list would be, and this is recent. I think I want to be a captain.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and
get the
study,
captain's
get the captain's license,
license,
6-pack license, and share what I know to other people and take them out.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So this is to inform the listeners, if you want to be a charter captain, if you want to be any kind of captain for hire, where people pay you to drive a boat for them, you have to have a U.S. Coast Guard captain's license. It's commonly called a 6-pack, and that means that you can only carry up to 6 customers or 6 people on your boat. And that's what a lot of the fishing charters do down here on the Outer Banks. If you want to go on a fishing charter, up to 6 people, never more than that. And yeah, it's I used to have my license. I let it expire. It's not that terribly hard to get, but once you got it, it's kind of cool. You know?
Yeah. I can't wait. I think I want to do it. I got to go back to school for a little bit, but it's learning something that I want to know about. So
yeah,
and learn about.
And you'll find, when I was doing the coursework, I realized, I already knew that. When you've been here a while and you've been on boats for a while, it's like some of it, did sink in at some point in time.
Exactly.
So that's great. So I've been living here about 25 years now, and I've basically fished just about every way you can fish, in a kayak, on a boat, in the Sound, trolling, surf fishing, offshore fishing, inshore fishing. But the one thing I haven't done is spearfishing.
Ooh.
Any urge to do any spearfishing?
Oh yeah, all of it.
Really?
All of it.
See, I'm a chicken, you know what, and I'm the chicken of the sea. and being at the bottom of the food chain instead of the top of the food chain.
Right. Well, I know when I go to Bonner Bridge, I think it's Bonner's Bridge, I've seen a couple guys out there spearfishing, and they were close. They weren't that far, and they came up with like 4 sheep's head. I'm like,
oh, you slay them. Every person I've met who has spearfished just slays it. It's almost not fair.
Yeah.
You're just going down right at their level. You're just creeping up right on top of them.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, just slay them. And the coolest story I may have is we decided to take my parasail boat offshore. It was after the season. Before we winterized it, we said, me and a couple of friends that we all worked together at the business said, let's just take the parasail boat offshore. So there's a tower owned by the government. It used to be an observation tower. It's just a tower now, and it's about 8 miles offshore, I think. And you go out Oregon Inlet, set a bearing, and you're going to see it. After 3 or 4 miles, you can't help but see it because it sits 40 feet above the water. I mean, it's 4 stories, probably 3 or 4 stories. And so you see it, and sure, I go out there, and there's 2 boats already out there, fishing or something. And I know the guy that owns one of the boats. That's the Outer Banks, right? It's
right.
If you're going to be in the middle of the ocean, I know that guy.
Exactly.
And he was spearfishing the tower 8 miles offshore. It's structure, so fish love structure.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, and we were trying to fish, and we caught nothing, and he's slaying the fish. He's like, they're looking at your stuff. They don't care. The funny thing is, we were out there. We saw a 6-foot shark.
Yeah, bottom of the food chain. Okay.
And I said, hey, Charles, there's a shark over here. Just let you know. He's like, okay, thanks. He didn't care. He was apparently very used to it, but very cool. Now, honestly, to me, that's a pretty radical fishing trip to go 8 miles to spearfish.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it right offshore at some of the wrecks. There's wrecks and I know some guys, they'll literally swim. Maybe they'll tow something behind them like a kayak or something. Or maybe they'll paddle a kayak, tie it up to the buoy, and they'll just dive right there.
Actually, that's what I want to do. Well, not dive, but I think it's called Pea Island.
Yep.
And I think there's a wreck or something somewhere near there.
Yep.
And someone was telling me that, try there. I'm like, I just bought a kayak, so I'm not a kayaker yet. Right. This year's the goal is to get the kayak out, and my wife and I just go sightseeing on the is it Pamlico Sound by Avon, I think it's called.
Yes.
To get on that side and just learn how to kayak out there. So it's so beautiful out there. So.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and he's one of our assistant coaches at First Flight Lacrosse, and he owns a charter boat called Vicarious Fishing. And he takes people. They specialize in spearfishing. So it's a charter boat mostly for spearfishing. He will take people just charter fishing inshore and stuff like that, but he will go to wrecks and stuff like that.
Do you have to be experienced?
That's a loose determination.
Right.
Now, that being said, he does offer underwater classes, instruction. Where he'll take you in a controlled environment like a pond or something.
Okay.
Like, okay, we're going to practice diving, and here's the safety things, and here's the spear gun and all that stuff. But yeah, he does that quite a bit, and I need to get him on the show because he's got a video. I think his captain was out by the tower, and they saw a gigantic manta ray, and they were swimming with the manta ray, and the manta ray's wingspan is about 10 feet long. It's just amazing. So he's got some pretty cool stuff, and I'll share that information with you later because he might be somebody you'd be interested in meeting and talking to. So let's see. We're going to talk about. So you also have. I tell you what, you've definitely assimilated because you got the woodworking business going on. What do you call the woodworking business?
It's called Hyson's Fresh Woodworks.
Excellent.
And
which is a play off of Tyson's Fresh?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wasn't there Tyson chicken? No. Okay. Sorry.
Anyway, no, Hyson's Fresh. I guess it started because I gardened a lot back in Maryland, and had a compost bin system set up and the food was fresh. So then I started making these little silly videos. This is Hyson's Fresh Tomatoes. Hyson's Fresh this.
Right.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. Hyson's Fresh could be anything. And it's just my name and what I do. And so at this point, Hyson's Fresh Woodworks is just me putting out woodworks. And if people like it, they can purchase. And
you're mostly selling it on Facebook Marketplace.
On Facebook,
or something like that.
Marketplace and word of mouth.
Right.
Yeah. So
a lot of local stuff.
A lot of local stuff. Adirondack chairs, trellis, garden planters, obelisks, which is basically a huge tower for climbing vines and plants. I've done during October, Halloween. I have jack-o'-lanterns, wooden jack-o'-lanterns with lights. And during Christmas season, I have Christmas trees. That and you guys can follow me on my name, Leroy Hyson, just on Facebook, and I have all that stuff on there.
Nice.
If you want to see it.
You must have quite a workshop.
It's my garage.
Okay.
It's my garage, and
any cars in that garage?
There's no cars in the garage, and my wife's hearing it right now, smiling. I know, because right now it's being reworked. She's helping me out with organization and everything. So, but it's been fun. It's been fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's see. Anything else you'd like to promote or mention?
Promote or mention? I just want to thank the Outer Banks for welcoming me and my wife here. From the first time we stepped foot in this place, it's been a joy.
Yeah.
I'll just give you one example, which shocked me, and it's kind of silly, but it shocked me. Mm-hmm. I went to, I think it was either Publix or Food Lion, or one of the stores, and I had ordered some chicken tenders. They weren't ready, so the lady told me, go shopping. Go ahead and shop, and I'll make sure they get done. So I'm thinking I'm going to just walk around, shop, come back and get them. The young lady found me in the store. So she had to walk around different aisles looking for me.
Right.
And brought me my chicken tenders. And I'm like, this would not happen anywhere else.
Right.
And everywhere I've been, because I'm fishing at night, I'm fishing all over the place. I'm just loving life, and everyone has been so nice here.
Yeah.
The Southern hospitality, quote, Southern hospitality thing is real. And
right.
I felt like, I got shivers, man. I felt like that I finally made it home.
Wow.
Even though I've lived in Maryland my whole life.
Right.
And when I got here, the values that I see in the people here are what I carry. And back to both my wife and I both carry in our hearts is, love people.
Yeah.
Just love people. Love people. Love people. But what else can you just love people?
Right.
And then everything else works out. And so that's what got me in the nature. God's creation is as every day.
Just start walking around. That's what I try to tell myself. Just you're bored, just start walking around and you'll see the most amazing stuff.
Yeah. Every day.
And you won't think so until you start walking around, open up your eyes, and like, wow.
Yeah. You don't and you it never gets I know it's not gonna get old, but I've heard that from other people that have been here for a while. It never gets old.
Right.
The sunsets, it never gets old. Walking on the beach, it never gets old.
Yeah.
Just sitting and listening to the waves, never gets old. A friend of mine went out. We were down in Hatteras, and she found a large structure in the sand. She took it out. It was a walrus, prehistoric walrus head.
Wow.
With the tusk in it.
Wow.
I don't know if it was petrified or what, but it was like a piece of. And
just by the way, if any of you find something on the beach, if it is black, like black, that means it's starting to petrify. That's how old it is. If it's white, it's probably semi-recent. But I have found some bones and stuff like that on the ocean, and I bring back. And my friends from East Carolina have told me that that's what it means.
Okay.
If you find black bones, they were starting to petrify.
Wow.
That's old there.
And it's just amazing. Every day, man, it's amazing. Every day.
Right. Can I? So we pretty much grew up in the same area, and I could say, when I moved here, and for years, there was kind of this when I was, out and about in public meeting strangers, there was kind of this, what's the word? Wariness. Because I grew up around DC, I was wary around strangers who offered me free things. Because in my mind, nothing's free, And these people would say, "Here, have this," and I would be on the defense. I'm like, "Why would you want to give me that?" I barely even know you.
Exactly.
And then I realized it's Southern hospitality.
Exactly.
And it's like, they'll give you something, and they might, there's a good chance they don't want anything reciprocal.
Exactly.
But you know what? You might pay it forward to the next person, and it just keeps going around.
It does.
And it took me a long time to appreciate the people for that, because I couldn't get away from it, So, I was thinking about something this morning is, if I moved to DC right now, it would be a blip, I would be a blip in that gigantic universe of the Beltway, But you moving to the Outer Banks right now, it's like a 10-foot wave, It's like all this stuff. Leroy's creating all this stuff and making all these acquaintances and friends and just adding so much more to the community that we got here. It's really cool. From a guy who's been here almost 25 years, it's really cool to see you just come in and just be a force of nature, so to speak, in a gentle way, just like, hey, my name's Leroy, I got a lot of good stuff to bring to the table, and this is, and I'm good with it.
I love it. So if you guys see me on the pier, on the docks, and on the beach, on the surf,
that's right.
Please say hello.
What's your? I know you go to a lot of the piers. Do you have a favorite pier?
I really like the Avalon Pier.
Yep.
And it's probably because that's the first pier that we came to.
Yeah.
My wife and I both like it.
Familiarity.
It's familiar, and the people are just real down to earth. You catch a lot of fish there. I think you can catch more fish at the piers that are more southward, towards the south.
Yeah.
I guess Nags Head, Jeanette's, and Outer Banks Pier. Those piers, you might catch more fish there. But I just like the atmosphere at the Avalon Pier.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people there and the kids there, and I had a lot of good memories already at that pier. So that's my pier, Avalon. Come on.
Nice. And surf fishing about the same, somewhere around there as well?
Surf fishing?
Yeah, you're exploring all over the place.
Yeah, so my first year, I spent most of the surf fishing near the Avalon Pier, Kitty Hawk, Nags Head.
Yep.
And just recently, I've ventured down to Avon, Buxton area, and I'm still learning how to read the beach. And that's my goal this year is to really focus on how to read the beach and catch fish, and I know where the fish are because I can see where the cuts are, the sloughs are, how the tide's moving out. So my thing is learning that, and then to be able to share that with other people so they can catch fish. Because the worst thing is to go out, you want to catch fish, but you just never catch fish. Yeah. And so it doesn't have to be that way. So that's my goal, is to be able to continue to educate, teach, and learn as I go, and just do it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll add this. My experience. I'm a very mediocre fisherman. I just fish when I feel like it. But I tell you what, when you come down here in the fall, you could be a nobody. You could throw an empty hook out there, and I've stood on the ocean, on the beach, and just pulled in fish after fish in the fall because they are just everywhere. Yeah. So highly recommend if you're interested in catching fish down here, the fall's kind of the amateur hour for us. Come on down. Well, Leroy, the name of the show is Treasures of the Outer Banks. I know you're new to the area, but you're definitely a treasure. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you sharing all your knowledge and your personality and friendship. It's been great.
Thank you.
Tell me one more time where people can find you online.
You can find me online, Facebook, my name, Leroy Hyson, Hyson, rhymes with Tyson. Facebook group, OBX Surf and Sound Fishing. My YouTube channel is the same name, OBX Surf and Sound Fishing. And you can just message me. Let's go.
If we have any questions, we know where to go. Leroy, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode with Leroy Hyson. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out treasuresoftheouterbanks.com and sign up for my weekly emails. My Friday email is called Ready for an Outer Banks Weekend, where I share local news, insights, and things to do on the Outer Banks. Until next time, make it a good one.